Okay, listen. There's a lot of genealogies in the front of this one. Okay,
Sucks.
I know it's just fucking boring sometimes. That's why do you think? Why do you think no one reads the Bible? They're so boring. They're so boring.
That makes sense.
We're gonna get through it because there's a ladder to heaven.
What?
At the end. So stick with us. All right, let's do this shit.
I don't know, man. It's just really been weighing on me. This fucking Genesis 6.
I was so excited for that text last night.
Dude, since he too is flesh.
Yeah.
Since, like us, he is flesh.
Should we
We can, we can fucking make our whole church, the foundational statement is, since he too is flesh. That's the whole. That's the. We're fucking divine fucking shit, man.
Yeah.
That's why they were walking around. They were dudes. They had bigger brains. That's it.
I mean, I like it. You know. Do you remember what verse in 6 it was?
Yeah, it's 3.
6:3.
The Lord said, "My breath shall not abide in man forever, since he too is flesh. Let the days allowed him be 120 years."
Yeah.
So like, oh, I think we fucked up. We made him too. We made him too good. We gave him too much of. We gave him too much of our stink. We have to take some of our stink back. Let's cut it off at 120. So none of this 900 years shit that Noah got.
Yeah, and that shall not strive in verse 3 that only occurs here. It's only one time.
What's that?
Well, our version says, I'm not in 22. So can you read the verse again? I'm in 22. I mean, not 6. So
6:3.
Yeah.
6:3 says, "The Lord said, my breath shall not abide in man forever, since he too is flesh. Let the days allowed him be 120 years." What'd you say about abide? Oh, yeah, abide.
Abide in the Hebrew, it's shall strive.
My breath shall not
strive with man. Oh. Yeah, my spirit shall not strive.
Okay.
Shall not always strive with man. The Lord shall not strive with my spirit. But this is the only spot in the Bible where
Andre shows up.
Yeah. So
abide, the dude, Andre.
God abides.
Everybody cool abides, man.
That's true. That's true. And what if that is it? If God shows up and it's just fucking Jeff Bridges in like a fucking sweater.
Or Andre the Giant. From here, He's a Northwest native, that guy.
Is he?
Yeah.
Stop this rhyming. I mean it. Anybody want a peanut?
Totally. I want you to feel like you're doing well. You're toying with me. The singer for New American Shame, John Wright.
Mm-hmm.
His wife was Andre the Giant's niece.
What?
Yeah, his mom, Tia's mom's sister dated Andre the Giant, and she's got a picture of herself looking like this big on his knee when she's a little girl, and it literally looks like this little girl sitting in the palm of my hand. It's the craziest shit you ever saw.
Like, have you seen a beer can? Have you seen a beer can in his hand?
Yeah, it's like this. It's like a thimble. Well, did you watch that documentary, and like his appetite? He had like cases of beer, the way we'd have a 6-pack.
That's insane, actually. Yeah. I haven't seen that. I didn't even think about that.
Bottles of champagne. Yeah. where did we get to last time? Do you remember?
I was just trying to figure that out. Did we read through 22 with Isaac? Did we read through him sacrificing his kid?
Yeah, because again, you know what I'm planning on at some point doing is going through and writing down all the times that people actually show up. The voice shows up, and then every time God got drunk and the angels had to go make it okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have another name? Is there another name for angels?
Servants, divine creatures, possibly.
Okay, I like the divine creatures.
There's like, because like what defines an angel? So I think maybe, and this is why you're here. Maybe it's anytime God is speaking. Yeah, when something is like a bush starts speaking, and I know we say that's DMT, but maybe that's a fucking angel to me. That's an angel.
But what do you call the guys who show up though?
Angels.
Okay, yeah. But then I think you got to differentiate between angels and bushes, though. Dudes, like bushes aren't dudes. No, seriously, right? Like bushes aren't dudes.
But we're talking about shit we can't explain, right? And so, like, when let's say right now that mirror came alive and was able to like show you the fucking past and the present and the future, and it like helped you and it spoke some truth you didn't understand about God into your life. Wouldn't that be kind of like an angel?
Well, wouldn't that it seems like that'd be more like a DMT trip you've described to yeah. I think it's I think you have to take it at face value. Like these men, including God, show up. Okay, these dudes show up.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that's dudes walking around. They're not hoverboarding.
Nah.
They're not ollieing off skateboards. They're not levitating.
They're eating food.
They're eating food.
Yeah, they're chilling.
Good food. Yeah. They're enjoying wives.
Yeah.
They're trying, like all of us, to not get fucked in the ass. Okay, so that says, it says this in the Bible. They get really mad. They get really mad.
Oh my God!
When you try to fuck them in the ass without asking. Okay, they will. So this is what it says in the Bible. These are words that appear, right? And so when it says Moses Moses saw a burning bush and it spoke to him, it's like, I think we have to like, okay, so in what reality is a burning bush talking?
Yeah,
because it's saying those words, and I know that a lot of the stuff is figurative.
Yeah,
but it's not. But if people who lead their lives according to this manuscript are taking it literally, then we're going to take it literally, because all's fair. Well, it's like what's good for the goose,
good for the gander.
Yeah. So like, I don't look at. I think it's not I don't think it's going out of our lane to say that a burning bush was a DMT trip, or like something that's not. They don't have any problem saying an angel of the Lord came down and smoothed everything over with Mary after she found herself pregnant with the fucking juice running down her. Like it's,
she wasn't pregnant yet, right? After the guy visited, after Gabriel visits, then
Are we sure? Well, yeah, okay.
I think so.
Okay, so Gabriel hit it. So it was Gabriel.
Yeah, that one was. Yeah.
So the Lord didn't, like Jesus. Oh, and did you like that thing I sent you? That so I was thinking that
I just don't even.
Yeah, I was thinking that if the Lord, who is a divine creature, impregnated Mary, he fucked her, because that's what they did. It says that they had kids with him. He didn't magically inseminate her. He did it the old-fashioned way. He earned it.
And
okay, and if that's true, then he's not. He at best he's Nephilim, right? He's not the son of God, although he is. He's just the son of a god. He's not immortal.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, you're spinning my brain out and all these really no, it's fucking fantastic. It's fucking.
You don't have to think very hard. Like, you don't have to read very far. You don't have to think very hard to like come up with like what. I mean, these are the rules. And I'm not making up the rules.
Maybe a Bible believing fundamentalist will be like, yeah, well, that was before the flood, and so they'll say that was Old Testament. They'll say that went away. They'll use parts of the Old Testament taken out of context to do this. But it's when you read these stories over and over again, and every time there's like a barren woman visited by God, and then 9 months later she has a baby. Yeah. It is a little bit suspect,
And why, like, if he's magic, why is it 9 months? Like all those, like, who was it? Like, in Aliens, in Aliens.
It just comes right out of your chest. It's like 2 hours later.
That thing was impregnated. Oh, and the same with, what was the vampire movie? Edward and Stella or Bella or.
Oh, the sparkly vampires that sparkle.
Right, that are on the Washington coast.
Yeah, they're not. They're brooding.
Yeah. What's the name of that? What's
I don't know.
Man,
Twilight.
Twilight, not Frozen.
Yes,
yeah. Twilight, right?
Basically Frozen.
Right. So when when the vampire impregnates her, then she like super fast gestation. Super fast gestation, not a human gestation. Jesus taking 9 months says that's a human gestation process.
I mean, I'm trying to sink my teeth into one section of this. So I think I like clarifying this as we read. Maybe we'll get more evidence that debunks this theory. But like I get the angle of a divine messenger or any object that starts acting divinely, like a bush or a voice from the fucking sky. You could consider that kind of an angel, but I do, just because the bush is named too, like Moses.
What's the name of the bush?
I think I always called it the acacia, but maybe it's like the assia or something like that. But that's a
type of bush, right? That's a varietal. That's a varietal. It's a strain or whatever.
Yeah. It's found in the desert a lot, and they are known to fucking turn their leaves bitter if any type of deer or if they get predation around them. So if you were to play a sound of a like deer eating a acacia bush to the acacia bush, all the acacia bushes in like a 50-mile radius would turn themselves bitter. So I know that we've seen like entire species of animal go extinct because of this. Fact checked myself.
I love this shit. I love the bell.
Yeah. So, but
and another thing.
Yeah. We're in this to win this, right. So like, it's a rich source of the strongest psychedelic compound that we can find.
And so that leads me to believe it's less magic. That's science. That's not like God talking through a bush. That's somebody eating the bush and God talking through the
This is something
colors.
We should consider is that like at one point Genesis was the leading front of scientific understanding of the universe. 1500, maybe 500 PCE. I don't know. When these stories were being told and written down and passed along, it was
probably like 5,000 BC or something.
No. I don't. I fucked up. Yeah. I totally agree with the story angle. I think they're written a lot later than people want. Because
like collected. This isn't original. This isn't original to the Old Testament manuscript. Like this is like a lot of this stuff is taken from the what's the
Mesopotamians.
Iraq, that whole region.
Yeah.
What are they called?
The near
Sumerians.
Middle East.
The Sumerians, Sumar,
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Yeah, which is
so
Mesopotamia.
this isn't. Yeah, this is just like boiled down and used for whatever. But anyway, let's fucking get with this. let's fuck with this.
Let's fuck with this.
As the kids say, hey, let's fuck with this. Right?
Yeah. You want to start at 15?
The angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time and said, by myself, I swear, the Lord declares, because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your favored one, I will bestow my blessings upon you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars of heaven and the sands on the seashore. And your descendants shall seize the gates of their foes. All the nations of the earth shall bless themselves by your descendants because you have obeyed my command. Abraham then returned to his servants, and they departed together for Beersheba, and Abraham stayed in Beersheba. Sometime later, Abraham was told, Milcah too has borne children to your brother Nahor. Uz, the firstborn, and Booz, his brother, and Kemuel, the father of Aram, and Chesed, Hazo, Fildash, Jidlaph,
and Bethuel.
Bethuel being the father of Rebekah. These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother, and his concubine, whose name was Rumah, also bore children, Teba, Gaham, Tahash, Makah.
So before we go to 23, it's like genealogies are obviously still a big deal.
Right. Well, this is post-flood, right?
Yep.
So Abraham, did we decide Abraham is Nephilim or not?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It was
who's his dad?
His dad is like Tar, or what's his name? It's mentioned in the genealogy, and I wrote it down. I fucked it up twice now. God damn it! I'm looking it up. I'm not letting this happen to me.
And then, but Sarah's son, Sarai, or his wife, Sarah.
So at first she becomes Sarah, right? But at first she's Sarai. Sari, yeah, sorry. But Abraham's dad and Sarai's dad is this guy named Terah.
Oh, okay. But now
Erah.
But Sarai's son is Nephilim.
Well, Isaac, yeah. I mean, because they're barren, right? And I don't know if you remember, but I was thinking about this too. In the text, it's like kind of seems to be on Sarah, like she's barren. Because she gives the handmaiden, so obviously, and then Abraham fucking impregnates her pretty quick. So it's not Abraham; it's this barren woman, and so God visits her. That was the word used in our Holy Scripture, right? And then 9 months later, she has a baby. So. Yeah.
Does it say that God actually visits her, or just because
never used that word, or it said he took note of? Right.
Was that before or after she has the baby from one of the Sodom and Gomorrah dudes? Because those dudes said
that's different people. That's Lot. I think
no. Lot. No. Abraham. Feeds the God and the 2 dudes with him, and those are the ones like, hey, where's Sarah? That's after, right? That's after she'd already had one kid with God.
She hadn't had a kid at all. Abraham had a kid with Hagar. Ishmael,
right.
Remember? But Sarah was barren.
I remember that. I just thought that. So the taking note is after Sodom and Gomorrah.
I think so.
Okay, right. So that's the first one, but that seems like it's not God who says where's the woman. It's one of the dudes.
But it was God. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was Yahweh.
But okay, so that makes Isaac Nephilim.
I mean, that makes fucking Isaac half God straight, and maybe the Nephilim were the divine beings that made these huge, giant, renowned, right?
No. The Nephilim are the offspring of the divine beings.
Right. Right. But those
Right.
divine beings, like it doesn't say it
Are-
was Yahweh back then. It's kind of, it seems to be
That's
ambiguous, you know? It's all
Well-
the friends behind Yahweh, in my opinion. You know, that's how I was always seeing it. It's like
Well,
all
that's
the
what I'm
dudes behind
Right.
Yahweh were always coming down partying. So when
Totally.
Yahweh comes and meets with Sarah, and then 9 months later she gives, it's like maybe he's even more divine. You know, what's
that's I think that again God talks about us, like when he's talking he's we. He might be the leader, but it doesn't at no place does it say that he's just the like, it doesn't say he is more divine than the angels.
I think it does, and I think as we go on, it might be built.
Where
No,
does it
well, that's I'm trying to unpack it. So as we stand right here, maybe not right, but it's good to think about that. Like, or it's something we should consider again. And we say this shit a lot, so I like it. But like, imagine living back then. Okay, and remember these books were written with a mass separation in dates and times, and so society, knowledge, everything's going to be evolving and growing, right? So even God, as the books of the Bible continue to be written, they're going to put more attributes into God, right? So as of right now, I like what we're saying because it's like we're just calling it as we see it right here in Genesis, and all of this stuff seems pretty good to me, actually, even though I think it's fucking ridiculous. But like, it's, you know, if we're trying to read the word, hear what it says, right? So like, I think we're pretty right. But as you continue on in the Bible, you'll realize that God is like that's the whole deal, is he's God of gods. So he's Lord of lords. He's the one, he's Zeus. He's the head of everything.
Okay, but again, if you're going to say he's Zeus, there were gods that fucked with Zeus. Like, there, you know what I mean? Like, Zeus wasn't all power. He wasn't like, he was just another god who was stronger. Right.
And
so
no. So that was bringing up my next point. Is like, so what you see, like, imagine. This is how I kind of see it. Imagine living back then. You're in Canaan. You're in Mesopotamia back then, and you fucking have a horrible harvest. And your neighbor's like, well, did you pray to Bartholomew, the god of grain, season 4? You know, there was a god for every fucking thing there was. So, like, you had to light a candle or sacrifice. There were so many gods, you can fuck up everywhere. So I almost feel like this is like an economical decision of like, nah, there's got to be one dude that's above the male dude, that's above the fertility god, that's above the fucking fire god. And I think this is us watching Israel move to that. So they're kind of inventing this god. They're kind of adding to him as they go year by year. I know that would make everyone mad, but
no, I just think you're taking gigantic liberties.
Well, okay, so attack it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I'm not even that far down the road. I just want to go on record as saying that God having sex with a human doesn't make that offspring more divine than one of the other
Angels.
than Gabriel having sex. Like, you know, it's the same thing. You're not extra divine. You're either divine. I mean, and I get that he might be the leader of the gods, but that I would, and I'm not going to inject what I think about that. I'm just saying that Isaac is Nephilim. He's not extra Nephilim.
We're in agreement with this. I'm just spitballing. Yeah, and the thing is what I'm trying to get out is, you know, imagine how stressful it would have been to have to pray and sacrifice to all these different gods. And you're like, fuck that. There's got to be one guy above them all. I'm just going to worry about him. And that's what this religion does. And we've already seen it, that they're a part of these polytheistic cultures, right? Because they weirdly exclude certain words that were represented with other gods in their.
Right. I mean, it was a concerted effort for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So we see them like moving towards monotheism. We see them like step by step, incrementally building their idea of God.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Or focusing their idea of God.
Yeah.
Like focusing. Yeah, I mean it does. I just like
You, I mean, you got me on the divine thing. If I can't.
Well, no, I'm just saying that, like,
debate you on that.
But to inject the part where you're like, maybe it was a fiscal decision. It's like, I don't think we have any. There's no, like, unless it starts talking about that, where it's like we have too many. Well, I know you think it is, but we can't say it is.
Oh, no. Most of the shit that I'm saying on this podcast, I have no idea if it's real. No. So, but like, can you imagine being back then and whenever, you know, because we think about God today so much differently than they would have, you know, back then.
If we think about him at all.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it looks like he was a him. And he looks like he looked just like us, and he looked like he rolled around and had sex with people and sent his minions to clean up the messes.
Dude, I have found I
think he got drunk. I think he'd get drunk and party, say weird shit to people like, hey, you know what? I know I made that kid for you. Now go kill him. You know, I like, whatever.
Well, I mean, once we get to Job, that has a lot for that too, because like it's basically like God and Satan like shoot dice and like make fucking bets. You know, they're playing like CeeLo in the alley. Like, hey, what about my guy Job? Huh? Hey, so it's like,
I don't know that story yet.
Oh, it's literally one of my favorites. So I won't go off on it. But
no spoilers, man. Although this is already out in most countries, though, right? This has been released.
Job.
Yeah, it's the Bible, the Old Testament. Yeah, it's been out.
Yeah. Also, there's something else that I have not been able, probably because of the fucking corona. I have not been able to research, but I've been seeing a lot and reading a little bit about this character named Lilith, who was possibly God's wife and was taken out of the Bible. Taken out of Genesis, and there's like these little like nods to her in these other stories. I can't remember. Is it Isaiah? No, yeah, maybe Isaiah is like later on in the Bible is having like a battle with these prophets of a different God, and it mentions the prophets of Lilith. So it's like in small sections it remains, but I'm guessing, and we need to do some legwork now, but it appears that maybe in the Jewish Bible, God had a wife too.
They like to get after it, didn't they?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Come on. Okay, so we got divine beings. We got angels having to be kind of. We're not signing off on them being bushes or fucking mirrors. They're dudes. They're things. They walk around. Dudes. They fuck.
They say they're dudes.
Yeah.
So we got all the way to 23.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you want to, I mean, do we want to unpack some of the, why are they talking about Abraham's brother?
Again.
Lineage matters.
Yeah, I think it's just credentials back then, man.
Well, and that's why I was asking is like, who's his dad? He's not divine. He's not a Nephilim. He's just, those folks just want to be able to say, oh yeah, but our lineage was Abraham's brother.
Yeah, you can trust me. I come from this and this and this. You know, it's like, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's, kind of like the numbers.
Gotcha. All right. So do you want to read this? Who's reading?
Sure. Let me take a hit. And
THC. Active ingredient. Kind of tasty.
Kind of tasty. So we have Genesis 23. Sarah's lifetime, the span of Sarah's lifetime, came to 127 years. Sarah died in Kereth Arab, now Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham proceeded to mourn for Sarah and to bewail her. And Abraham rose from beside his dead and spoke to the Hittites, saying, I am a resident alien among you. Sell me a burial site among you, that I may remove my dead for burial. And the Hittites replied to Abraham, saying to him, Hear us, my lord. You are the elect of God among us. Bury your dead in the choicest of our burial places. None of us will withhold his burial place from you for burying your dead. Thereupon Abraham bowed low to the people of the land, the Hittites. And he said to them, If it is your wish that I remove my dead for burial, you must agree to intercede for me with Ephron, son of Zohar. Let him sell the cave of Mechaleth that he owns, which is at the edge of his land. Let him sell it to me at full price for a burial site in your midst. Ephraim was present among the Hittites, so Ephraim the Hittite answered Abraham in the hearing of the Hittites, all who entered the gate of his town, saying, No, my lord, hear me. I give you the field, and I give you the cave that is in it. I give it to you in the presence of my people. Bury your dead. Then Abraham bowed low before the people of the land, and spoke to Ephraim in the hearing of the people of the land, saying, If only you would hear me out. Let me pay the price of the land. Accept it from me, that I may bury my dead. And Ephraim replied to Abraham, saying to him, My lord, do hear me. A piece of land worth 400 shekels of silver. What is it between you and me? Go and bury your dead. Kind of weird, like
anti like reverse bartering.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like, remember before when he's like, was it Melchizedek was trying to give him money or something like that? And he's like, nope, because I don't want you to say when I'm fucking awesome, you can't say it's because you gave me this. Do you remember that? Right. So it's kind of like the same thing. He's like, I'm not taking a handout, you know?
Well, yeah. It's also, I mean, these guys want to, the guy's not going to take his money though, because he's the guy, he's God's guy. Mm-hmm. It's like, you don't charge God's guy.
Yeah. Reverse bartering.
Yeah.
So I guess in my opinion, it's just like, it seems like a literary device to just show that Abraham is the kind of guy that stands on his own 2 feet or something like that.
Okay.
So 16, Abraham accepted Ephraim's terms. Abraham paid out to Ephraim the money that he had named in the hearing of the Hittites, 400 shekels of silver at the going merchant's rate. So Ephraim's land and Melchaleth near Miramar, the field with its caves and all the trees anywhere within the confines of that field passed to Abraham as his possession in the presence of the Hittites, of all who entered the gate of his town. And Abraham buried his wife Sarah in the cave of the field of Mechaleth, facing Miramar, now Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Thus the field with its cave passed from the Hittites to Abraham as a burial site. So, Yawn. Come on, where's the incest? You got us all. Where's the fucking? We need dragons at this point. Come on. We're talking about real estate purchases.
He's just contractual obligations and whatnot.
Yeah, no, he paid for it. He got a great deal too. He's making 3% on the interest. Yeah, it's great.
400 shekels. let's just keep going.
Okay.
Let's get back to the porn.
Yeah, it kind of gets there. Abraham was now old, advanced in years, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said to the senior servant of his household, who had charged all that he had owned, "Put your hand under my thigh, and I will make you swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that you will not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell."
Wait, say it again. So he the senior servant.
So he can't take a wife from Isaac from amongst the people they live around. He wants him to go back.
What's with the put your hand under my thigh?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Okay, so there was a tradition back then, and it's written about a lot. Sometimes when men would like make a promise, the one dude would grab the other dude's testicles and testify. You know what I'm saying? So there's like he would grab his testicles and make a promise.
You're full of shit.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. It's a real thing. So this is very, very likely one of these kind of promises.
You will not take a wife for my son,
Who's Isaac,
from the
right?
daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell, but will go to the land of my. Oh, okay, so he doesn't want Isaac to marry a Canaanite.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't want the women around him. He doesn't want him to marry them. So he's gonna have to like. This servant is gonna have to. It's like
hump it all back to.
Yeah, take some camels, take some gold. You got to go find a woman. It's like the Bachelorette or some shit,
But he's like, so he's the head servant and he's in charge. Like instead of, is he like putting him on like a knight's errand? Like he's like, you have to go do this.
Yeah.
While Abraham's still alive.
Yeah, he's about to die. He's really old, right?
And while you promise, hold my balls.
You have to hold my balls.
It sounds like something Squires made up. Hey, is this thing written by Mike Squires?
That would fucking literally not surprise me.
I got good news and bad news, Jeff.
So God.
So you know how I'm really in with God? I get to make promises. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Jesus.
Put your hand on my dick. Swear to me. Genesis 24:4. But okay, I'll actually go back. That you will not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell, but will go to the land of my birth and get a wife for my son Isaac. And the servant said to him, what if the woman does not consent to follow me to this land? Shall I take your son back to the land from which you came? Abraham answered him, no. Abraham answered him, on no account must you take my son back there! ! The Lord, the God of heaven, who took me from my father's house and from the native land, who promised me an oath, saying, I will assign this land to your offspring. He will send his angel before you, and you will get a wife for my son from there. And if a woman does not consent to follow you, you shall then be clear of this oath to me. But do not take my son back there. So the servant put his hand under the thigh of his master, Abraham, and swore to him as bidden. Hold my dick, bro. Then the servant took 10 of the master's camels and set out, taking with him all the bounty of his master. And he made his way to Aram Naharaim, to the city of Nahor. He made the camels kneel down by the well outside the city at evening time, the time when women came out to draw water, and he said, O Lord, God of my master Abraham, grant me good fortune this day, and deal graciously with my master Abraham. Here I stand by the spring as daughters of the townsmen come out to draw water. Let the maiden to whom I say, please lower your jar that I may drink, and who replies, drink, and I will also water your camels. Let her be the one whom you have decreed for your servant Isaac. Thereby shall I know that you have dwelt graciously with my master. He had scarcely finished speaking when Rebekah, who was born to Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Abraham's brother Nahor, came out with her jar on her shoulder. The maiden was very beautiful, a virgin whom no man had known. She went down to the spring, filled her jar, and came up. The servant ran towards her and said, please, let me sip water from your jar. Drink, my lord, she said, as she quickly lowered her jar upon her hand and let him drink. When she had let him drink his fill, she said, I will also draw water. I will also draw for your camels until they finish drinking. Quickly emptying the jar into the trough, she ran back to the well to draw, and she drew for the camels. The man, meanwhile, stood gazing at her, silently wondering whether the Lord had made his errand successful or not.
Like, is God going to show up here in a second? Or is this guy
Nope.
just because I totally like this is like the silliest little prayer. Like if God's supposed to show up and help, he just like, hey God, could you I'm gonna say, and if she says this, is that cool? You know, it's like that's that. I mean, God shows up when God wants to. You know, God and Gabriel and thing one and thing two, they show up. So it's like. So it's like, how is, I mean, this doesn't seem very divine. The part where he's like, hey, is it cool if I just say this and then she'll say that and I'll know that's what you mean? It sounds like, you know what I mean? It's like, I want to get the rest of the story and see how this plays out.
Let's do it, because that's what I was trying to get out of you right there. That's perfect. Okay, so where did I leave off?
21.
Oh, that's okay. Let me go down. I thought it was 12.
The man, meanwhile, stood gazing at her, silently wondering.
Yeah.
Because like, why is he wondering? The Lord makes himself pretty fucking known these days.
I mean, yeah, right? And God does not show up, so I'll keep going because I like that rant. When the camels had finished drinking, the man took a gold nose ring weighing half a shekel and 2 gold bands on her arm, 10 shekels in weight. Pray, tell me, he said, whose daughter are you? Is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night? She replied, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Melchah, whom she bore to Nahor. And she went on, there is plenty of straw and feed at home, and also room to spend the night. The man bowed low in homage to the Lord and said, Blessed be the Lord, God of my master Abraham, who has not withheld his steadfast faithfulness from my master. For I have been guided on my errand by the Lord to the house of my master's kinsman. So they're related. The maiden ran and told all this to her mother's household. Now Rebekah had a brother whose name was Laban, and Laban ran out to the man at the spring. When he saw the nose ring and the bands on his sister's arms, and when he heard his sister Rebekah say, Thus the man spoke to me, he went up to the man who was still standing beside the camels at the spring. Come in, O blessed of the Lord, he said. Why do you remain outside when I have made ready the house and a place for your camels? So the man entered the house, and the camels were uploaded. The camels were given straw and feed, and water was brought to bathe his feet, and the feet of the men with him. But when the food was set before him, he said, I will not eat until I have told my tale. He said, Speak then. I am Abraham's servant, he began. The Lord has greatly blessed my master, and he has become rich. He has given him sheep, cattle, silver, and gold, male and female slaves, camels and asses. And Sarah, my master's wife, bore my master a son in her old age, and he has assigned to him everything he owns. Now my master made me swear, saying, You shall not take a wife from the son. Now my master made me swear, saying, You shall not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell. But you shall go to my father's house, to my kindred, and get a wife for my son. You know, that's that other part I was talking about. Like, Abraham didn't say that, you know. He just said, go to the land I come from and get a wife from there. So it's like the servants either like changing it to kind of seal the deal with them or something, you know, like to make sure it's successful.
Or father's house means like the land of his father. Not
Yeah,
like
yeah, but
literally,
that's
not
that's a
literally.
vague thing. He didn't say go. He would have said go to my father's house. Get he would have said go to my go get a wife from our lineage or something like that. He just says go to the land.
Well, I mean, you figure that all of these people are related. Like, I don't see that as being but, and I'm not, I don't know shit, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying that, like they're, like that, and like you're saying, maybe that's a big deal that
yeah,
like that's a game of telephone right there,
something like
or,
that.
or maybe those are just different ways of saying the same thing.
Yeah, or yeah, maybe I don't know.
Because you figure when in a village, 5,000, what is it, 7,000 years ago, or however long it goes, they're all related because they marry within, like they're like, that's a family, that's a
Pretty
clan.
much. Yeah.
And that lands on me, like, go to my clan and
Well,
those are my people, those are my ilk, those are my
let's see. Where did we? There. No,
you're at
39.
838. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And I said to my master, what if the woman does not follow me? He replied to me, the Lord, whose ways I have followed, will send his angel with you and make your errand successful. And you will get a wife for my son from my kindred, from my father's house. Again, Nick, if he said that, we didn't have it. Thus only shall you be freed from my adoration. Thus only shall you be free from my adjuration. If, when you come to my kindred, they refuse you, only then shall you be freed from my adjuration. Weird. I came today to the spring and said, O Lord, God of my master Abraham, if you would indeed grant me success to the errand on which I am engaged, as I stand by the spring of water, let the young woman who comes out to draw and whom I say, please let me drink a little water from your jar, and who answers, you may drink, and I will also draw water for your camels. Let her be the wife of whom the Lord has decreed for my master's son. I had scarcely finished praying in my heart when Rebekah came out with her jar on her shoulder and went down to the spring and drew. And I said to her, please give me a drink. She quickly lowered her jar and said, drink, and I will also water your camels. So I drank, and she also watered the camels. I inquired of her, whose
And
daughter?
then she watered the camels. Like, dude, yeah, we get it, but she would have said that to anyone because we fucking trained her nicely. Sorry, go ahead. What do you fucking think we're a bunch of jagoffs? She's polite. Doesn't mean you get to boner.
I owned you, bitch. Inquired of her, whose daughter are you? And she said, the daughter of Bethuel, son of Noor, whom Milcah bore to him. And I put the ring on her nose and the bands on her arms. Then I bowed low in homage to the Lord and blessed the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who led me on the right way to get the daughter of his master's. Then I bowed low in homage to the Lord and blessed the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who led me on the right way to get the daughter of my master's brother for his son. And now
that's a mouthful.
That's a fucking.
Who led me on the right way to get the daughter of my master's brother. The daughter of my master's brother.
For my son. For his son.
Daughter of my master's brother. So his niece. The daughter of his so my master's niece.
Which, like, if Abraham said this, we don't have it. Because he didn't say this, he just made him grab his balls and said, like, don't get a wife from around here. Go back to there.
Yeah.
It wasn't like.
Keep going.
I was hoping you were going to riff more, so I grabbed the pipe.
You want me to read? Yeah, I'll read.
Yep.
And now, if you mean to treat my master with true kindness, tell me. And if not, tell me also, that I may turn right or left. Then Lahan and Bethuel answered, the matter was decreed by the Lord. We cannot speak to you bad or good. Here is Rebekah before you. Take her and go, and let her be a wife to your master's son, as the Lord has spoken. When Abraham's servant heard their words, he bowed low to the ground before the Lord. The servant brought out objects of silver and gold and garments and gave them to Rebekah, and he gave presents to her brother and her mother. Then he and the men with him ate and drank, and they spent the night. When they arose the next morning, he said, Give me leave to go to my master. But her brother and her mother said, Let the maiden remain with us some 10 days, then you may go. He said to them, Do not delay me now that the Lord has made my errand successful. Give me leave that I may go to my master. And they said, Let us call the girl and ask for her reply. They called Rebekah and said to her, Will you go with this man? And she said, I will. So they sent off their sister Rebekah and her nurse along with Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, O sister, may you grow into thousands of myriads. May your offspring seize the gates of their foes. Then Rebekah and her maids arose, mounted the camels, and followed the man. So the servant took Rebekah and went his way. Isaac had just come back from the vicinity of Beer-lahai-roi, for he was settled in the region of Negeb. And Isaac went out walking in the field toward evening, and looking up, he saw camels approaching. Raising her eyes, Rebekah saw Isaac. She alighted from the camel and said to the servant, Who is that man walking in the field toward us? And the servant said, That is my master. So she took her veil and covered herself. The servant told Isaac all the things he had done. Isaac then brought her into the tent of his mother Sarah, and he took Rebekah as his wife. Isaac loved her and thus found comfort after his mother's death.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom, shaka, bow, wow.
I wonder what the 10 days was about.
What 10 days?
They, after the next morning, the brother and the sister wanted him to wait 10 days before they head back to the thing.
Because, I mean, they're probably saying goodbye to her forever back then, right? Like, she's going to a different land, you know, you might see her once again in your life, but, so that could be it. Well, right. Like, how far can you walk with all your shit, you know, back then?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't want to have to carry my shit anyway.
Right. You know, so what if they're just like, you know, she's going to be gone and we're going to see her 3 or more times in her life. We want to hang out. That's kind of how I took it. But
yeah, I wonder what the, like you said, like, is 10 days a thing? Is there like a mourning period where you're losing your whatever? It's so strange.
Yeah. I mean, it's also like, kind of like the gears have shifted down. We've gone through these stories of like fucking God raining down hellfire and like, you know, like these girls, these daughters of this dude thinking the whole world is dead and getting impregnated by their dad. We're going from these kind of stories to like, hey, you know, well, they went over there and then they got married and then they brought some camels. You know, it's just like, it's like kind of a bummer. And like,
yeah, it's not, and we're only, this is only like, you know, 5 chapters later.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Isaac then brought her into the tent of his mother, and he took Rebekah as his wife. Like, that seems like that's a whole long process there. Like, that's not like we went into the tent, got married, and had sex all in the same like 2 hours.
Yeah,
that seems like I don't know.
Yeah, no, like a ceremony type of maybe it was I don't know.
Yeah.
I love that that's the great part about the weed angle of this, is that we can spitfire every single one of these weird ideas.
Yeah.
Without knowing.
What happened? Oh,
So
take our direction came today spring. Oh. Yeah, that whole story about, it's so funny that they decide these non, like, that's apparently like him saying, "Hey, this is what I said to God," and then she said it, and then him conveying it to the family, and they're like, "Well, we can't say shit because obviously God spoke through." It's like, yeah, but God didn't say anything. That's not,
Yeah.
God didn't actually. You just that's the thing that somebody's going to say.
Yeah.
You're just, you're like, yeah, that's really.
No, that's you're bringing up such a fucking good point because like in the chapters before this, God is like hanging out.
Well,
right?
and the
He's
angel,
like walking and talking. Yeah. Yeah.
and if
they're
he's
there.
not, he sends dude. He sends
Yeah.
thing one or thing two,
Yeah,
and someone
dog.
comes down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, so that's why I'm like, I don't. This doesn't. This message seems more like, hey, praying works to talk to God than these
Yeah.
little words are different. You know what I mean? It's like, see, you can manifest God's will by just praying. Because it's like these people aren't divine. He's a servant, and Abraham's brother is just fucking like Billy Carter. It's like he's not Moses' brother. He doesn't have his own race.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. I mean, that I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's for. I'm not fucking with that.
Yeah. It's kind of, and like, maybe it is, maybe the first stories in the Bible are so much older than these ones that they could get away with saying that God used to just chill, and then writing comes along and they start writing down this book, and now the newer stories, like they start moving away from God. Like,
well, how do we know this is newer?
I'm totally
spitballing.
Well, this is newer because like Adam and Eve is way before this event because again, Abraham lived in this city called Ur of the Chaldeans. We know where it is. It's like in South Turkey. There's lots of stories about him. It wasn't actually that long ago.
On the glacial scale.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like maybe once you get into history, right, where you can like fact check shit.
Recorded history.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they're making God less personal, like you said. It's like prayer. That's how it works now.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, let's go through 20. Oh, go ahead.
We're going to keep going?
Yeah, why not? Because these are kind of boring. We'll try to knock them out for our people here. Abraham took another wife whose name was Keturah. She bore him Zimar, Jokshan, Medem.
Abraham took another wife?
Yeah.
I thought Abraham was dying. Go ahead, sorry.
Medem, Ishbek, and Shah. Jokshan begot Shebeth and Dedan. The descendants of Dedan were Esheram and Letzium and Lemon. The descendants of Midan were Ephah, Epher, Enek, Abadai, Eldai, all the descendants of Keturah. Abraham willed all that he owned to Isaac, but Abraham's sons and concubines, Abraham gave gifts while he was still living, and he sent them away from his son Isaac eastward to the land of the east. This was the total span of Abraham's life, 175 years, and Abraham breathed his last, dying at a good ripe age. Old and content, he was gathered to his kin. His son Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Mechapeth, in the field of Ephron, son of Zohar the Hittite, facing Miramah, the field that Abraham had bought from the Hittites. There Abraham was buried, and Sarah his wife. After the death of Abraham, God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac settled near Beer-Laroit. This is the line of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's slave, bore to Abraham. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names in order of the birth: Nabor, the firstborn of Ishmael, Kedar, Abel, Mibsah, Mishem, Dumah, Massa, Hadad, Tamar, Judar, Nepesh, and Kedma. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names by the villages and by their encampments. 12 chieftains of as many tribes. These were the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his kin. They dwelt from Havel by Shur, which is close to Egypt, all the way to Ashur. They camped alongside all their kinsmen. This is the story of Isaac. So it kind of seems like they just ushered that Ishmael off just as quick as they could, you know? They're like, here's what happened to Abraham and Ishmael real quick. This is the story of Isaac, son of Abraham. Abraham begot Isaac. Isaac was 40 years old when he took to wife Rebekah, daughter of Bethuel, the Araman, the Padan, sister of Laban, the Aramean. Isaac pleaded with the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was barren. The Lord responded to his plea, and his wife Rebekah conceived. But the children struggled in her womb, and she said, "If so, why do I exist?" She went to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord answered her, "Two nations are in your womb. Two separate peoples shall issue from your body. One people shall be mightier than the other, and the older shall serve the younger." With her time to give birth at hand, there were twins in her womb. The first one emerged red, like a hairy mantle all over, so they named him Esau. His brother emerged holding on the heel of Esau, so they named him Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when they were born. When the boys grew up, Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the outdoors. But Jacob was a mild man who stayed in camp. Isaac favored Esau because he had taste for game, but Rebekah favored Jacob. Once, when Jacob was cooking a stew, Esau came in from the open famished. And Esau said to Jacob, "Give me some of that red stuff to gulp down, for I am famished," which is why he was named Edom. Jacob said, "First sell me your birthright." And Esau said, "I am at the point of death, so what use is my birthright to me?" But Jacob said, "Swear to me first." So he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil stew, and ate and drank, and he rose and went away. Thus did Esau spurn the birthright. I miss the divine beings, I don't know.
That's all right. Is it going to be like this for a while?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's why I was trying to pepper it up the best I can, but
not the salad days here at all. Really.
No,
but Jacob's he's a crafty one, huh? You're hungry, huh? Sell me your birthright.
Yeah. And what a motif. You got like the manly man who the dad loves, and you got like the dude,
the bookworm
that mom loves, yeah.
It's
been around for a while.
Let's just pile through. I see Philistines.
Why don't you do 26 then? Because I'm going to load back up.
Okay.
For the people.
26. There was a famine in the land aside from the previous famine. There was a famine in the land aside from the previous famine that had occurred in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, in Gerar. The Lord had appeared to him and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Stay in the land which I point out to you. Reside in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. I will assign all these lands to you and to your heirs, fulfilling the oath that I swore to your father Abraham. I will make your heirs as numerous as the stars of heaven, and assign to your heirs all these lands, so that all the nations of the earth shall bless themselves by your heirs. Inasmuch as Abraham obeyed me and kept my charge, my commandments, my laws, and my teaching." So Isaac stayed in Gerar. When the men of the place asked him about his wife, he said, "She is my sister," for he was afraid to say my wife, thinking, the men of this place might kill me on account of Rebecca, for she is beautiful.
Seen this one before.
Family business.
That's why we named that.
When some time had passed, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looking out the window, saw Isaac fondling his wife Rebekah. Abimelech sent for Isaac and said, So she is your wife? So she is your wife. Why then did you say she is my sister? Isaac said to him, Because I thought I might lose my life on account of her. Abimelech said, What have you done to us? One of the people might have lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us. Abimelech then charged all the people, saying, Anyone who molests this man or his wife shall be put to death. Isaac sowed in that land and reaped 100-fold the same year. The Lord blessed him. And the man grew richer and richer until he was very wealthy. He acquired flocks and herds and a large household, so that the Philistines envied him. And the Philistines stopped up all the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of his father Abraham, filling them with earth. And Abimelech said to Isaac, Go away from us, for you have become far too big for us. So Isaac departed from there and encamped in Wadi of Gerar, where he settled. Isaac dug anew the wells which had been dug in the days of his father Abraham, and which the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham's death, and he gave them the same names that his father had given them. But when Isaac's servants digging in the wadi found there a well of spring water, the herdsmen of Gerar quarreled with Isaac's herdsmen, saying, The water is ours. He named that well Esek, because they contended with him. And when they dug another well, they disputed over that one also. So he named it Sitnah. He moved from there and dug yet another well, and they did not quarrel over it. So he called it Rehoboth, saying, Now at last the Lord has granted us ample space to increase in the land. From there he went to Beersheba. That night the Lord appeared to him and said, I am the God of your father Abraham. Fear not, for I am with you, and I will bless you and increase your offspring for the sake of my servant Abraham. So he built an altar there and invoked the Lord by name. Isaac pitched his tent there, and his servants started digging a well. And Abimelech came to him from Gerar with Ahuzah and his counselor and Phicol, chief of his troops. And Abimelech came to him from Gerar with Ahuzah, his counselor, and Phicol, chief of his troops. Oh, we've seen these guys before.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Isaac said to them, Why have you come to me, seeing that you have been hostile to me and have driven me away from you? And they said, We now see plainly that the Lord has been with you, and we thought, Let there be a sworn treaty between our two parties, between you and us. Let us make a pact with you, that you will not do us harm, just as we have not molested you, but have always dealt kindly with you and sent you away in peace. From now on, then he made for them a feast, and they ate and drank. From now on, is it? Whatever. early in the morning, they exchanged oaths. Isaac then bade them farewell, and they departed from him in peace. The same day, Isaac's servants came and told him about the well they had dug, and said to him, We have found water. He named it Sheba. Therefore, the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. When Esau was 40 years old, he took to wife Judith, daughter of Beeri, and Hittite, and Basemath, daughter of Elon and Hittite. And they were a source of bitterness to Isaac and Rebekah, because Esau is the brother.
The manly man.
But he's whose brother? Jacob's brother.
He's Jacob's brother.
And who's Jacob?
Jacob is the son of Isaac. Isaac.
So Esau is the son of Isaac also.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But I thought. But now they don't. But But when he marries this daughter, all of a sudden there's drama.
It's like fucking Dallas, that old TV show. It's like a fucking soap opera now.
Yeah.
Like we they kind of cluttered the stage. They had we had this Ishmael and his mom, and those people died. Abraham died. They took a bunch of people off the stage, and now they're setting the stage for the dynasty of Isaac and Rebecca. And so
So we're still going though. We're still in 27, right?
I think we should. That's what I was trying to say.
That's the end. Oh, that's the end. Do you want to?
Well, why not go through it?
Yeah,
Because it's
okay.
it will get kind of interesting pretty soon.
No worries. When Isaac was old and his eyes were too dim to see, he called his older son Esau and said to him, "My son." He answered, "Here I am." And he said, "I am old now, and I do not know how soon I may die. Take your gear, your quiver and bow, go out into the open and hunt me some game. Then prepare a dish for me such as I like, and bring it to me to eat, so that I may give you my innermost blessing before I die." Rebekah had been listening to Isaac. Rebekah had been listening as Isaac spoke to his son Esau. When Esau had gone out into the open to hunt game to bring home, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, "I overheard your father speaking to your brother Esau, saying, 'Bring me some game and prepare a dish for me, that I may bless you with the Lord's approval before I die.' Now, my son, listen carefully as I instruct you. Go to the flock and fetch me 2 choice kids, and I will make of them a dish for your father, such as he likes. Then take it to your father to eat, in order that he may bless you before he dies." Jacob answered his mother Rebekah, "But my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I am smooth-skinned. If my father touches me, I shall appear to him as a trickster and bring upon myself a curse, not a blessing." But his mother said to him, "Your curse, my son, be upon me. Just do as I say and go fetch them for me." He got them and brought them to his mother, and his mother prepared the dish at just such as his father liked. Rebekah then took the best clothes of her older son Esau, which were there in the house, and had her younger son Jacob put them on. And she covered his hands and the hairless parts of his neck with the skins of kids. Then she put in the hands of her son Jacob the dish and the bread she had prepared. He went to his father and said, "Father," and he said, "Yes, which of my sons are you?" Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Pray, sit up, eat my game, that you may give me your innermost blessing." Isaac said to his son, "How did you succeed so quickly, my son?" And he said, "Because the Lord your God granted me good fortune." Isaac said to Jacob, "Come closer, that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esau or not." So Jacob drew close to his father Isaac, who felt him and wondered, "The voice is the voice of Jacob, yet the hands are the hands of Esau." He did not recognize him, because his hands were hairy like those of his brother Esau, and so he blessed him. He asked, "Are you really my son Esau?" And when he said, "I am," he said, "Serve me and let me eat of my son's game, that I may give you my innermost blessing." So he served him, and he ate, and he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Come close and kiss me, my son." And he went up and kissed him. And he smelled his clothes, and he blessed him, saying, "Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of the fields, and the Lord that the Lord has blessed. May God give you of the dew of heaven and the fat of the earth, abundance of the new grain and wine. Let peoples serve you and nations bow to you. Be master over your brothers, and let your mother's son bow to you. Cursed be those who curse you. Blessed be those who bless you." No sooner had Jacob left the presence of his father Isaac, after Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, than the brother Esau had came back from his hunt. He too prepared a dish and brought it to his father, and he said to his father, "Let my father sit up and eat his son's game, so that he may give me his innermost blessing." His father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am your son Esau, your firstborn." Isaac was seized with a very violent trembling. "Who was it then," he demanded, "that hunted game and brought it to me? Moreover, I ate of it before you came, and I blessed him. Now he must remain blessed. When Esau heard his father's words, he burst into wild and bitter sobbing and said to his father, Bless me too, father. But he answered, Your brother came with guile and took away your blessing. Esau said, Was he then named Jacob that he might supplant me these 2 times? First he took away my birthright, and now he has taken away my blessing. And he added, Have you not reserved a blessing for me? Isaac answered, saying to Esau, But I have made him master over you. I have given him all his brothers for servants, and sustained him with grain and wine. What then can I still do for you, my son? And Esau said to his father, Have you but one blessing, father? Bless me too, father. And Esau wept aloud. And his father Isaac answered, saying to him, See, your abode shall enjoy the fat of the earth, and be the dew of heaven above. Yet by your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. But when you grow restive, you shall break his yoke from your neck. Now Esau harbored a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing which his father had given him. And Esau said to himself, Let but the mourning period of my father come, and I will kill my brother Jacob. When the words of her older son Esau were reported to Rebekah, she sent for her younger son Jacob and said to him, Your brother Esau is consoling himself by planning to kill you. Now, my son, listen to me. Flee at once to Haran, to my brother Laban. Stay with him a while until your brother's fury subsides, until your brother's anger against you subsides, and he forgets what you have done to him. Then I will fetch you from there. Let me not lose you both in one day. Rebekah said to Isaac, I am disgusted with my life because of the Hittite women. If Jacob marries a Hittite woman like these from among the native women, what good will life be to me? So Isaac sent for Jacob and blessed him. He instructed him, saying, You shall not take a wife from among the Canaanite women. Up, 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 go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take a wife there from among the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May El Shaddai bless you. Who's that?
God. I'm looking it up right now. It's another name for God.
May El Shaddai bless you, make you fertile and numerous, so that you become an assembly of peoples. May he grant the blessing of Abraham to you and to your offspring, that you may possess the land where you are sojourning, which God assigned to Abraham. Then Abraham sent Jacob off and went to Padan to Laban, the son of Bethuel and Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, mother of Jacob and Esau. When Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him off to Padan to take a wife from there, charging him as he blessed him, You shall not take a wife from among the Canaanite women, and that Jacob had obeyed his father and mother and gone to Padan Aram. Esau realized that the Canaanite women displeased his father Isaac. So Esau went to Ishmael and took to wife, in addition to the wives he had, Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, son of Abraham, sister of Nebaioth. Vayetzli. Jacob left Beersheba and set out for Haran. He came upon a certain place and stopped there for the night, for the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of that place, he put it under his head and lay down in that place. Mm-hmm. He had a dream. A stairway was set on the ground, and its top reached the sky, and angels of God were going up and down it.
Yes.
And the Lord was standing beside him, and he said, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham, and the God of Isaac. The ground on which you are laying, I will assign to you and your offspring. Your descendants shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall spread out to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. All the families of the earth shall bless themselves by you and your descendants. Remember, I am with you. I will protect you wherever you go and will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, surely the Lord is present in this place, and I did not know it. Shaken, he said, how awesome is this? This is none other than the abode of God, and that is the gateway to heaven. Early in the morning, Jacob took the stone that he had put under his head and set it up as a pillar and poured oil on top of it. He named that site Bethel. Previously, the name of the city had been Luz. Jacob then made a vow, saying, if God remains with me, if he protects me on this journey that I am making and gives me bread to eat and clothing to wear, and if I return safe to my father's house, the Lord shall be my God. And this stone, which I have set up as a pillar, shall be God's abode. And of all that you give me, I will set aside a tithe for you. Jacob resumed his journey.
Should we pause at all? There's a lot.
We
went 2 chapters.
Yeah.
That's fucking some Bible reading right there, Mr. Brother Redden. What's what? No, come on. You can...
No, I was trying to think of what's a deacon Redding.
Deacon.
Yeah.
That's pretty good too.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah. Well, this is so got kind of interesting there. I mean, how vindictive is the mom where she's like,
because she doesn't like she doesn't like Bayo, right? Or whatever his name is.
His name's Esau.
Esau.
Weird, right? Yeah.
She doesn't. She favors favors Jacob.
Yeah. She likes Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And like, but she puts like fucking hair on his hands.
Yeah.
Like that's like they went like she put some work into that.
Yeah. She went full on.
Fucking full on. And then like the fact that he sees like he literally sees a stairway to heaven. Like,
I hadn't put that together, but that's exactly what he sees.
Yeah. Like, what? And is this just like some fantastical stories for this family and this lineage to be like, this is why this is our land? You know, is it just fucking that simple? Or like, did this fucking guy really see angels coming up and down?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like these dreams, what is dream? What's the translation of dream?
If you give me the reference of where it is.
Genesis 28:12. He had a dream. A stairway was set on the ground, and its top reached the sky. And angels of God were going up and down it, and the Lord was standing beside him.
And he had a dream. Why 4 occurrences. Then Joseph had a dream. Now he had still another dream. He fell asleep and dreamed a second time. So it is all with sleeping.
Yeah. Okay.
For us, I thought we were saying that was always drugs, but
well, that's the thing is like, I mean, we can't. It's all. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that dreams. There's sometimes he's around, and sometimes like see. Yeah, I don't know, like because it seems like he's gone now. It seems like they can't show up anymore. You know what I mean? Like
he can maybe that's them even leaving this planet. That's what he saw. What if they were?
Or I'm just saying that like maybe when they're dreams, it's because they can't get back here in person, and they can just come to you. Like I've always like, dreams might be interstellar, like multiverse,
interdimensional travel.
Yeah. And so that's why he comes to them in dreams. It's like that's as close as they can get, because the wormhole's closed.
Yeah. What do you make of the fact that the angels are going up and down, though? It says they're going up and down. So it's like they seem to be coming and returning.
Well, I mean, they've been there. That's not new. Like, that.
Yeah.
That's. Yeah, maybe. And it's interesting that they calls it a stairwell, because maybe it's it's the wormhole.
Well, it could be. So that word also could have been translated ziggurat, which was a Mesopotamian structure. We got introduced to it at the Tower of Babel. They're basically pyramids, and so I know that the stairway, that word could also be ziggurat. They just use stairway. So it could be, as he's going back to the land of his fathers, Mesopotamia, he's dreaming these dreams of Mesopotamia or something. But it seems to me that he had like a piercing of the fucking veil and saw the goddamn escalator that fucking divine beings are used to come hang out on Earth. Like,
he saw behind the curtain.
It's like, and he's sleeping on a rock. I don't know if that is.
Dude, what a baller, man. Yeah, maybe he was getting he's getting some sort of pinch in the blood flow to his brain. Sleeping on a rock. Yeah, I found a rock for a pillow. Yeah. He's not that much of a bookworm. No.
Yeah, and it really. Go.
It's super interesting that like his brother is hairy and he's fair. It's
yeah.
That's like some incest shit. That's like some genetic. His brother's all hairy, and I don't know. It's weird.
Well, we said Isaac. We remember where he comes from.
Yeah, he's Nephilim.
So like,
I wonder if God is fair skinned. I wonder if like Gabriel's fair skinned. I wonder if the divine beings are fair skinned. Seems like they would be, doesn't it?
I mean, there's always a lot of light around them. Then later, It'd
be so funny if you shut the light off and they're like all furry and hairy and fucking. it's like this thing. Like you shut the light off and it's like,
oh shit. Like is that 9 nipples?
Totally. I wonder. That's fucking funny. Wow, this is not nearly. I mean, it's cool. It's not as cool as like serving the gods, lamb, and then having them strike down your enemies.
Yeah, and that's why I was attempting to fucking try to spice it up a little too much at the beginning. Thank God for editing. But like, a lot of the Bible is fucking weird and boring, and that's why people don't read it. Yeah,
I'm into it though.
Yeah. We went from 22 to 28, so that's fucking ridiculous.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, and that's fucking, it's rad. Especially, yeah, well, why don't we just say goodbye to everyone now, because this is a lot of Bible to digest.
It's a lot of Bible today, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Bible today, folks.
You're welcome. You're fucking welcome. Someone's got to do it. It's going to be us. Now you don't have to read it.
You could be in your car on the way to work, like we do. All right, love you all.
Yeah, love you, buddy.
Bye. Thank you. All around the world, we love you. See you next week. Smooches.